to tonight's episode of Paranormal Encyclopedia, which is, of course, a real big celebration for us all tonight, because this marks our 50th episode here on Hamilton Radio.
50! Yes! 50! Holy God, we actually survived 50, and I didn't kill you yet.
Nobody's killed me yet. That alone is a miracle.
Well, how do we know that I didn't and then just revived you?
Yeah, good point.
Yes.
So, folks, we've got a lot of special surprises in store for you tonight. As you may notice from some of the accoutrements on the table, though I think most of it's covered by the TV. I'm going to do some magic. Baron's going to do some hypnosis. We've got, if Brian shows up, he's currently missing in action. He's going to do a reading from one of his books. We've got a slew of old guests that are going to be joining us over the course of the evening.
A few of them may be surprises because I just
sent random messages to people to see if they wanted to join us.
Probably to 20 people, asking if they wanted to join us, even if they had the loosest of connections to a paranormal topic.
Because you know what? There's always an interesting paranormal spin that could easily be turned from anything.
Like I said, with celebrities, if nothing else, we can always do EVPs.
Oh, yes.
Famous people's EVPs. Sounds like fun. Or for that matter, the I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here Haunted House Edition.
Oh. Can't say I've ever played that version.
I think it's doable. There's definitely houses in this country.
Oh, yes. I remember one of my favorite actresses had a haunted house that she eventually sold off to Brad Pitt. Cassandra Peterson.
Elvira.
Yes.
Nice.
The true mistress of the dark.
Okay, before we continue on this whirly gig, because tonight is going to be very free-flowing.
Yes.
I want to give out the number because this is even more than usual. One of those nights that we encourage people to call in. It's 609-807-2492, 609-807-2492.
You will call.
Keep in mind that number is through Skype, so if you have somebody who's already on the line and you want to jump in and ask a question to that person or a question in general, don't worry about it. We can take more than one caller at a time.
Yep. And it'll be fun.
And in fact, 2 weeks ago when we did the 1 year anniversary, we had a couple of cases where we had more than one person on the line.
Yeah, that was beyond awesome.
We had 3 at one point: Arthur, John, and Chuck.
And me.
And you, yes, because you had to call in that night.
Yeah, unfortunately, but yeah. And you know what? I'm going to admit something on air that I don't think I admitted before. There was a lot of whiskey involved in that call.
Of course there was.
I'm surprised I kept my sanity during that broadcast. But it was a good broadcast. I kept my... could you tell?
No, I couldn't.
Huzzah.
We've had a really good run so far.
So far. And you want to...
We should plug our first sponsor, though.
Oh, of course. You want me to do it or you want to do it?
I'll do it.
Okay, awesome.
So, we want to give a shout out to Audible. If you guys go to audibletrial.com/paranormale, that's audibletrial.com/paranormale, you can get a 1 month free membership. If you don't know what Audible is, it's a huge collection of audiobooks, and we're talking tens of thousands.
Oh, yeah.
Our good friend and prior guest, Dacre Stoker's newest book, Dracula, is on there.
Yep, him and J.D. Barker did a great job.
Oh,
I've actually started delving into it.
So
it's a good book.
It's like,
yes. It's a real page-turner.
And it's a really interesting, it's a for those of you who hadn't heard the interviews or seen anything about it, it's a prequel to Dracula about Bram Stoker as a young man, as a child at first, in fact, interweaving actual history with fiction and things like that.
It's a good read, and you want to know it's a good listen, too, if you get yourself on Audible.
Yep.
Because they've even got other books, too, that isn't just necessarily on the paranormal. You got stuff from Asimov on there. You've got even resource and reference materials as well if you want to learn something on the go.
Self-help books.
Yep, without a doubt. And even my personal favorite that has a tendency to make Kevin here cringe, the entire collection of Anne Rice's works.
And Twilight.
Oh, God.
Which makes everybody queer.
That's the only thing that's your counter cringe to me.
The only cure is Clive Barker.
Great
no
choice.
such thing.
Fight me.
No, I'm not saying that he doesn't exist. I'm saying Clive Barker isn't a cure. Clive Barker is the answer.
Clive Barker's got a good degree of cringe in a good way.
Oh, yes.
Just because he has such a fondness for BDSM.
So, in case you folks haven't noticed here, we've actually got 2 folks that we normally don't have behind this side of the desk.
Yep. Amisha Campbell, the original producer from back when it was still just a YouTube show.
Indeed.
And the occasional sidekick. And our current producer, Beth, have joined us in tonight.
Uh-huh.
Most of you remember me from threatening to hit somebody with a, riding crop.
Yeah. And
Often
Who the-
intelligent comments and additions.
and who the heck are you?
Of course, in case anyone doesn't know, after 50 episodes, I'm Kevin Mears, demonologist, paranormal encyclopedia, paranormal investigator, joined, of course, by...
Baron Voltage, a.k.a. Christopher Ryan, a.k.a. Small Medium at Large, a.k.a. I'm going to hypnonize you all into remembering me so that this way you will call into the show.
And subscribing.
And
Hypnotize them to
subscribing and
subscribe.
liking.
Yes.
You will. Or you will suddenly feel an itch behind your eyeball that you can't quite reach for a
Don't
couple
you
of
hate
hours.
that?
Oh, yes. You see, that's something you want to know what? That's a good lead in. We were originally trying to figure out what would be a great overarching topic for everything. And Kevin came up with the idea, come up with some quirky ideas and stuff that we could talk about in regards to our own respective fields. So I'm going to say some of the fun stuff I love to do, people, when I got them tranced out. And you
I'm going
could,
to tell some of the goofier stories about ghost hunting.
ghost hunting and maybe even some of the faux magic tricks
Oh,
that
yeah.
ended up freaking falling flat on their faces.
There's also some... There's the magic trick that stopped a war.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And some other funny magic stories, certainly.
Yep. And Meow Meow over there can tell
Meow,
us some
meow,
funny
meow,
cat
meow,
stories.
meow, 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 meow,
Thank
meow.
you, Madam Meow Mix. And Beth being our resident Fey mythologiosis Mademoiselle.
And cat herder. Don't forget she's our major
Definitely a cat herder.
All of them.
Yep. There
Every
you go.
single one of them.
Every single
Oh,
time.
I'm not denying this at all.
She's Queen Cat, the cat herder.
Could tell us some rather funny stuff here. So, Kevin, you want to start us off, or you want to play whose turn is it roulette?
I'll start us off with a funny ghost, with
There
a
we go.
funny magic story.
Awesome. We like funny magic stories. 'Cause
There's
all
an
stories are
incident
magic.
in the early 1900s where a bunch of magicians all got a letter about how somebody was going to do an outdoor, out on the streets of New York, levitation without wires.
Damn you, David Blaine. What the frick were you
Oh, this
doing
was
back in
years
the
before,
1900s?
yeah, years before Blaine or anything like that. And
Okay.
everybody got real excited. They all were given a spot to meet at midnight. And one of them was very incensed because he was famous for doing a wireless levitation. It's like, who dares do my bit? So they all go out there. It turns midnight, and they're all staring at each other, and staring at each other. And then one of them goes, it's after midnight. You do realize what today is? It was April 1st.
Well played to the turn of the century troll. You have done well. The true and awesome April Fools to us all.
To a bunch of magicians.
And you think magicians are the biggest pranksters of all. They
Oh,
make a
God,
living
yes.
off of it. It's just it's not at anybody's expense. It's just usually at the expense of somebody's ignorance. But even then, they're entertained. The hell? That's you want to. I mean, I give plenty of props to I know I mentioned him before, but David Blaine. All right. Some of the stuff that he does is okay. Yeah, that's kind of awesome. But then some of the stuff is like he has to be trolling people. For
He
instance,
is.
I'm gonna
We always
I'm gonna
are.
freeze myself into a block. Okay, what's the magic? I'm going to see how long I can do this in New York without anybody throwing something at me.
Which is a pretty good trick all by itself.
I'm
let's be honest.
saying, I mean, come on. You want to impress me? Have the ice block remain intact over a volcano. Then I'll be impressed.
Also, Emilio Diaz, who says, "Hi guys, Emil here. Hope all is going well." Also says, "Lol, awesome 19th century trolling for the win."
Yes. Now, all right. Here, I'll tell a funny hypnosis
Yes.
story, and then I'll talk about some of the ways I torment people with it. The guy that actually invented it, Franz Mesmer, he didn't invent it. He just figured out that, oh, cool, I can actually do some really cool stuff with this. He originally came up with the idea of it through animal magnetism.
Oh lords!
Yeah, you want to talk about a hokey pseudoscience and a half. He actually believed that people in some way, shape, or form could easily, I can't even explain it with a straight
They
face.
basically
You know,
had
it's-
energy
Yep.
emanating out of parts of their body like magnetism, except
Exactly.
not detectable like magnetism.
And the thing is that since he considered all humans to basically be animals, hence the term animal magnetism, and then figured, ooh, there's some connection to that with the way that the human mind works. Let me do a small little bit about that when I present this to the freaking College of Vienna, was it?
I know eventually he wound up presenting it to a
Yeah.
team of scientists that included Benjamin Franklin
Yeah.
himself.
And Ben Franklin was pretty convinced on the hypnosis bit, but not necessarily animal
Yeah, he
magnetism.
called bullshit on the magnetism.
Yeah, definitely without a doubt. But then he realized, wait a minute, the hypnosis bit actually, well, he called it mesmerism. Well, eventually it was called mesmerism, but he realized that everybody seemed to really enjoy that bit. I got to do that bit again and dig more into it, and next thing you know, we end up with hypnosis. And then you get the funny crap I could do to people. In particular, Kevin, we
Phone?
got a call.
Yeah, put him through. Holy Karen.
What do we have?
Hello, you're live on the air.
Hey, it's Karen from New Jersey Ghost Organization.
Hey, Karen, good to have you on.
Kevin.
Called it.
First
And I
victim
think
of the
Brian
night.
might just have shown up.
Did we get Brian?
Nope.
No, we did not get Brian.
Ruben, hey, Ruben.
Hello, the Ruben.
How you doing, Karen?
Good, how are you?
Good. So what have you been up to of late?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You have a stellar show.
Oh, thank you. From colleague in the field, that means a great deal to me.
Indeed.
Oh. Well, listen, you've earned it.
Thank you. So have you been up to anything new and exciting lately?
Well, we started our ghost walk in my town in East Brunswick.
Hey.
And, and of course, we're in Jersey. So, and it's, just a few weeks till Halloween. So, like I said, we started our ghost walk for the community. And this year the money goes to the fire department. And it also goes to one of the animal rescues in town.
Oh, nice.
So we're taking up some food for cats and dogs and supplies and things like that. So, yeah, we've been pretty busy.
Wow.
I think we need to go check that out at some point.
Yes, and we encourage all of our
Well,
listeners.
it's every Saturday night in October, 7:30.
And it's for
They can
two
check
good
us out
causes.
on Facebook on EB Ghost Walk, and it's on our Instagram. I think you'll find it. And, yeah, we've been busy. It's usually in all the newspapers, so,
Well, there you go.
any of the local papers, the Home News Tribune, the local Sentinel. It's been all over. There's, I think it's called ghosttourbbookings.com. They're in Australia. So we've been just advertised internationally now.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I remember Brian and I meeting you at your convention last year, and I'm really
Yeah,
glad to
the
see
Ex-
things
the
working
Expo,
out
yeah,
well for
the
you.
Expo.
So, listeners
so-
and viewers,
Yeah.
certainly check it
Yeah.
out. Definitely, without a doubt. Or
Hey,
you
it's a
will.
ghost tour for a worthy cause.
Yes,
That's
and
my
Oh,
favorite part.
absolutely,
Hands
absolutely.
down.
Sometimes it goes to the museum down there. We try to keep it in the village. It's just a little sleepy village that was established in 1634.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of haunted history down there.
That's a number to play in the pick for. 1634.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Straight in box.
Beats my hometown
Yeah,
by 60
so-
years in terms of how old it is.
Hey, there you go.
Because I come from New Hope, Pennsylvania, which is 1700 even.
Hey, there.
That's New Hope's pretty haunted as well.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if there's any hauntings in Pottstown beyond just my house.
There's
we were
hauntings
just,
everywhere.
We were just advising a client out in Lancaster, PA.
Ah.
That's Native American Indian territory.
Oh,
out
yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah.
Horse and buggy land.
I was going to say, and the Amish and
That's
the
true.
Pennsylvania Dutch
That's
as well.
Yeah. Those are people that take a one look at hypnosis and try to kill you for it.
I was going to say, with the Pennsylvania Dutch as well, you get into a lot of interesting traditions with magic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're doing magic tonight, right?
Well, I was actually I'm going to be doing stage magic. I meant actual traditional magic, you know, the occult stuff.
Wow.
Because the hexes that they put on the barns,
Yep.
but the powwow, that's the name of the tradition. Yeah, there's a whole magical
Nice.
tradition among the Pennsylvania Dutch known as powwow that incorporates the hex signs everybody knows from the barns and a bunch of other root traditions from that area.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, PA is loaded with that kind of stuff. It's an awesome place
yeah.
to live.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I miss being from in PA.
And I'm okay with being in PA now. Kind of like adds to the appreciation of me driving all the way out here just to make fun of you.
Yeah, tell me about
There you go. Oh, he
We're
loves
pretty happy
it.
in Jersey.
it. It's actually
Poor Kevin. But
fitting
anyway,
that-
listen, I'm going to sign off
Okay.
because I have a meeting to go to, and
Have fun.
it's work in the morning. So.
Thank you so much for calling in.
And our hats
Anyway,
off to you
well,
for
listen,
doing the awesome.
Happy anniversary. You deserve
you.
it. It's a great show, and I really appreciate any of the time that you've given us in the past.
You're
So
always welcome. You were a great
enjoy
guest.
it. Enjoy it, guys.
Indeed.
Thank you. So that was Karen
All right.
Kimmel Tipper, one of the very first guests we had on, actually.
Oh, rock on.
Sweet.
So it's fitting to have her as the first guest of the special guests of tonight.
Because she was our first.
I'm not sure if she was the very first, but she was among the first.
And you know what? The thing is that she noted a very good cause, which means, hey, go
Yeah.
out there, help her out, hook her up. You want to know what? It goes to a good cause
It's
over
two
here.
good causes because
Two
it's an
of 'em.
animal rescue and a fire department.
And the fire department, which are known to rescue animals from trees, too.
Yep.
And
Part-
burning buildings.
And they
burning
both
buildings.
need money. They both always need money.
Oh, yeah. hands
Especially
down.
public services nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I would have happily promoted her ghost walk anyway because she's an awesome person and I support what she does. But it's like, oh, wait, it's a ghost walk for charity. We're bringing that up every other
Instant
show in this
win.
month.
Yes. Instant win. All right. Where was I?
You were talking about your favorite trick and specifically about how Ben Franklin was intrigued by hypnosis.
Oh,
That's
yes.
where you finished.
Well, no, that's where I finished with
Yeah.
Benny, but then I started to go into how I can really do some evil. Some of the more twisted things that I've done. The itch behind the eyeball was certainly one of them, and I could teach people how to do this. It's fun, I promise. There's also the consistent feeling like you just tried to sneeze but couldn't. Or the wandering itch,
Oh,
where every
God.
single time you scratch, you
You
think
are
you
a
scratched where it itched, but it isn't alleviating this itch. My other personal favorite screws with a person's balance, where every single time they take a step, they feel like they just took a step down a staircase and forgot there was another step. Or what's worse, they thought there was another step. You ever do that? Try and take another step that didn't exist, and you almost put your foot through the floor.
Yep.
That's always fun. You know, and that's just, some of the minimal. And then you've got the downright demonic, where I install Siri in a person's head.
Oh.
And put songs on loop. And videos on loop. You ever get rickrolled by your own brain? It's.
Where's Brian? He's the one who
Fun.
volunteered to be hypnotized.
I think that's the reason why he isn't here. He knew I'd do it, too.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's like I was thinking about volunteering. Now, for some reason, I'm having second thoughts.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe I hypnotized him into thinking that it would be a good idea to volunteer. And now he finally snapped out of it.
Could be.
He did hang out with me for a while last 2 weeks ago. That's probably where he got the idea. He was alone with me for a little bit.
Oh dear.
There
what
you
did
go.
you do to my other co-host?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm innocent.
That's sounds even more suspicious.
Okay, I'm innocent. Where's my lawyer?
This isn't a trial. You don't get a lawyer.
I demand a lawyer. Where's my phone call?
Nope.
But, as with all things that could be downright evil and hypnotic, some of the fun stuff that I've done that's not evil, but it's just downright cool, like making water taste like vodka. But what's even more twisted is that when you drink it, you actually do get drunk. Yes. You like that cranberry juice? What if it was suddenly wine? How very Jesus-like of me. That's a very Christian thing to do. I'm doing my duty for Christmas. I'm making everybody's cranberry juice turn to red wine. Enjoy.
Red wine. You make me feel
You're so fine. Yes. But, other than that kind of cruddy up stuff and fun stuff, though, I do enjoy touring the convention circuit.
Oh yes, we both like those.
Oh, yes. Hypnosis has really brought a lot to me in that regard and blessed me in so many different
Which
ways.
reminds me, I need to make a clarification. So last week I had mentioned that I was going to be performing at the Halloween in the Catskills events.
Yeah.
That is incorrect. There was a miscommunication. Not placing blame on anybody, but I won't be there.
Oh, well. I'm sure they'll miss you, and if they don't, then
Oh well.
that's them. Hey. But, there are a number of conventions that are going to be coming up, within the year.
Oh, yeah,
That
there's gonna
maybe
be
I'll be
plenty.
making appearances at. I might even be making an appearance at Parf.
Cool.
Who knows?
So I found another fun story
Oh, you got fun story. I like
that
fun
combines both the occult and this type of magic.
story. Ooh.
So this comes from I want to say the 19th century.
Again, now you're going back even more 100 years.
Yes. So the French were having issues in Algeria with the local tribes.
We, as we usually did.
A war. Basically, they're afraid a war's about to break out. And part of the problem they're having is that the local Algerian tribes have shamans. They're very convinced the power of their shamans So the French decide to go to their greatest magician and scientist Robert Houdin.
Oh, wow, yes. I love this man.
Robert Houdin was a really cool individual. In fact, yeah, if the name sounds familiar, it's because Houdini took his name in honor of Houdin.
Mais oui.
So, Houdin, being a scientist, develops what's a trick known as the light and heavy box. It's a box not much bigger than this. It seems to be made out of wood. He sets it down, brings out an English schoolgirl, little kid, 6, 7, 8, maybe 8 years old tops.
Uh-huh.
Kid picks up the box, waves it around, sets it down. Goes to the Algerian people, invites their strongest warrior to come forward. Zaps him with his magical powers. Warrior can't make the box budge.
Ah.
Warrior steps away. Little girl can pick it up easy as can be.
How peculiar.
I do know how it was done. I will not, Magician's Code, I'm not going to say. But it is a common technique used in almost every house in the world today. It's a matter, remember, he wasn't just a magician, he was a scientist.
Huzzah. Leverage.
And it stopped the war. There was no combat between the two sides because the Algerian people were freaked out. It's like, how can we possibly defeat the superior magic?
Exactly. Sometimes the better gimmick is what wins.
Yep.
And I love it.
There's a whole series with that as well with the Second World War where the English used magicians.
They're not telegraph writers.
There's a one magician. There's a movie on this on Netflix if anybody's interested about the team of magicians that helped the British British SIS and the war effort by doing things like it was. There's a famous story of the fake army. How the British built an army and the Americans, because at this point the Americans had entered the war. This was part of the preparations for D-Day, but they built an army out of balsa wood and canvas.
Ah, yes.
And then they set up a radio tower.
Uh-huh.
Sent General Patton, at the time he was a three-star general. This is before he led D-Day, to go do a bunch of parades and give a bunch of speeches, and convinced the Germans that the Allies were going to land at the beaches of Calais instead of the beaches of Normandy. In fact, we know from German records that Hitler was convinced that the attack on Normandy was a ruse, that the main force was going to attack Calais. They devoted most of their forces, all of their artillery, to defending the wrong beach.
Yeah. Because most of the thing is that Calais is a lot closer to the English coast than Normandy.
Yep. He also, at one point, mostly I think for fun, convinced the Germans that the English had developed a new superior form of sonar that could detect all German subs unless they were painted a specific color, and got the Germans to completely repaint their subfleet. The only productive thing I could think it did was waste a bunch of money and waste the subs being out of service.
Interesting.
And a bunch of other things. Magic and the paranormal, too, have more of an influence on history than people think. Another good story on the paranormal side of things, Dante Alighieri, his most famous work, The Divine Comedy.
My favorite.
While parts of it were published while he was still alive, the complete version was thought lost when he died. His son had a dream of Dante's ghost coming to him and showing him a specific spot in Dante's study. And in the morning, the son went there and looked in that spot and found a hidden cubby and found the completed manuscript. What about that?
Tell you later.
Okay.
Well, I mean, when it comes to Dante, and it comes to the paranormal, and it comes to inserted fan fiction, and we were talking about Twilight earlier.
Let's avoid Twilight like the plague.
You are not hitting me with that. No. I will make
deserves
that.
it,
I
but
will
no.
make that feel like not only is it made of asbestos, but as heavy as a brick. You know I can do it.
She'll go down cuddling the thing. That's hers.
Yes.
You don't take that from her.
I'll sprinkle it with catnip. Oh, make it smell like catnip.
Sniff.
Yes.
So we're coming up on the hour. I'm going to give out the number
Are
again. Yes.
Wow.
Six
No.
fifty- or
That's
half
half
hour.
hour.
Half hour.
What are you
I was
talking
about to
about?
say you made
I
me go
was
wait.
in the full
what?
7. I meant.
Whack.
Don't mind me. Great time. Time flies when you're having fun. So remember,
Yes.
if you want to call in, if you're one of the planned people, if you're somebody else who likes the show, who wants to call in, if you think we're a bunch of crazy people and you want to make fun of us, that's okay to call in too.
Yeah, go ahead. I dare you.
609-807-2492, 609-807-2492. The number's down at the bottom of your screen. We welcome people to call in, critical or otherwise.
Come on.
Break the boys.
Or try.
Actually,
I'm
you know
hard to
what?
break.
That would be something interesting to try and pull off. See if they could actually make either one of us bust out laughing. Because I can go stone-faced.
I can, but it usually takes more prep work. They'll probably break me faster than you.
Yeah,
I'm also in a really giggly mood.
and I would probably break under a feather.
You
If I
break very
sneeze,
easily.
you break. See, there you go. Already won.
Beth, I think could keep a poker face.
She could try.
I don't know. We did that laugh challenge a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you busted out laughing. Enough said.
You broke
I bet
first.
you could keep one longer than Demisha, though.
Yeah, she would definitely outlast Amisha. She would outlast you. I think it'd beat me and her head to head, more or less. The only thing I have to do is just say,
Call in and find out.
yes, try and make us laugh. See what happens. Next on Paranormal Encyclopedia, the paranormal phenomenon of Beth laughing. See?
I'm a drop kick you.
Not in that dress, you better not.
And dress.
And you see where the magic is. There it is. So
Almost
you
need a drum for that.
oh please.
It
Almost.
works.
Yes. So you has props.
Yes, and I'm going to do magic.
You-
Build up. Build up.
Build up. Yes.
put it on.
And I has my hat.
Yes.
I think I win.
I mean,
Yes, but can you put a sword through her throat without killing her?
No, but I can look cool as hell with it.
But I can put the sword through her throat without killing her. And I'm going to.
consensually. Let's emphasize consensually.
Always consensual.
I can make her feel
big
like
on the
she's
consensual.
going on the electric chair with this thing.
Also consensually.
Of course. Remember, hypnosis, 100% consensual.
Yep.
It better be. Yes. I win.
So I think it's time for a funny ghost story.
Yes, I like funny ghost stories.
Let's hear it.
I think I've told this one before, but it's always worth repeating. So, a friend of mine I'll save that one. I'll do another one. I don't think I've told this recently. My mentor, Lou, gets a call from this family, these two women, I should say, in the Poconos area of Pennsylvania. It's a good 2.5 hour drive to get there,
Yep.
and a 2.5 hour drive to get back.
The Poconos is 2.5 hours away from everything.
Pretty much.
But it's gorgeous up there.
Except things that's even further from.
Yeah.
It's like the
Reality.
minimum is 2.5 hours. So, and this woman's talking about your full-on, like, poltergeist movie stuff. Objects flying around, horrible demonic voices, claw marks, bite marks. You know, house totally destroyed. And he gets up there, and this house is in ruins.
Ooh.
It looks like it's got a poltergeist. It's got claw marks on the furniture, bite marks on the furniture. But Lou wasn't any more psychic than I am, but you do what we do long enough, you get a feel for a place, and you can tell if a place has a spook in it. And this place ain't sending off any bells.
Oh boy, here we
So
go.
he's talking to these two women, and these two women are crazier than a box of Fruit Loops. Talking about how there are these defenders of time and space that appear as koalas with military helmets on. And all this other goofy, some of it's new agey, some of it's I don't know where you get koalas in army helmets. I really don't. I don't even know if there's cartoons of this.
You send them to Australia first. And
Yeah.
give them Fosters. They will wear helmets
Yeah, point. But
and Vegemite sandwiches.
finally she pulls out
Really?
an audio recorder
Uh-huh.
and swears she has EVP proof, of the spirit voices, and plays it. And granted, it sounded really weird like this. But again, Lou was the king of EVP. He got it everywhere. This isn't sounding like EVP.
It sounded like somebody that took 36 Valium with vodka.
It sounded like what it was. It's somebody that took the recorder and flicked it on the slow play. So when he flicks it back to regular play and hits play, it's the woman in question screaming at the actual cause of the haunting. Her two large, extremely active dogs. Dogs have anxiety. You leave the dogs home alone, they destroy your house. They bite and chew and claw at your furniture. The kicker being, the woman did not accept this explanation. Her precious puppies could never do that.
Fuck you. Pardon my language, but
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to state this. It's going to be probably what's going to get me hate mail. If you anthropomorphize your domestic animals in belief that they have personalities that are incapable of evil and destruction, I will invite you to a room and throw one of my cats in there.
is it Satan Cat?
It is Satan Cat, yes.
Of course,
I've heard all
Satan
the
Cat's
stories.
redundant. Cats are all evil.
No.
Some are sweet. They just don't know how to control their evil. Satan Cat, for those that don't know, I live in a house with 5 cats. Okay? I actually came up with names for them that are just endearing as heck. From Stabby to Grumpy to Satan Cat to Sleepy. And Satan Cat in particular, her actual name is Sophie, has permanent half-moon eyes unless she likes you. Then Lord help you. Because Sophie does not know, actually no, I am convinced she does know how to retract her claws. She just chooses not to.
That's normal.
If you're within close proximity to her, you're going to need a transfusion. Because she will let you know that you're in close proximity to her and you're invading her personal space. Unfortunately, her personal space is about a good 6 to 7 foot radius around her.
Sounds like an ordinary cat.
And she
No.
moves around.
Okay, maybe a little meaner than an ordinary cat.
Well, that's just it. She's not mean. She's calculating. Mean is just blind rage. No, Sophie actually knows what she's doing because she'll purposely be cute to lure you in, thinking, ooh, she wants tummy rubs. You go to give tummy rubs and you're off to the hospital getting 3 or 4 bags of Oneg. Because guess what? You just tried to give tummy rubs to Satan.
To be fair, unless the kitten is used to getting tummy rubs as a baby, and as they're growing up, that's a frickin' trap.
But that's just it. My girlfriend could give her tummy rubs, no problem.
That's her human. Clearly. She has the permission. She has the consent.
Well, I'm just thinking of the cat at Amisha's house that will come by Amisha or her sister cat or her parents to get rubs for a tenth of a second and then just
Oh, we
wander
got a call.
away. Oh, probably Chuck, because he was going to call in around 7.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, hey. Oh, John?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, too.
Yay! For those that don't know, who we've got on the phone is, if you care to introduce yourself, or would you rather Kevin does it?
Why don't let Kevin introduce me?
There you go.
Okay, so unless I'm having an out-of-body experience, this is our friend John French,
Yes.
who is an excellent writer, does paranormal fiction, and I believe you do detective fiction as well. Do you not, John?
Right. I started off doing detective fiction, and then CJ got me involved in the Zarnak anthology.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the only one in the anthology who did not write a mythos tale. I went straight vampire.
Always a good choice.
And then Vince Sneed asked me, can you write a zombie story? Well, I hadn't been writing that long, but I knew the answer was yes.
Well, when somebody asks you for a zombie story, the answer is always yes.
Not from me.
Yeah, well, I found as a short story writer, the editor asked you, can you write such and such? Your first answer is always yes.
Yeah, especially then.
That's essentially saying that's saying otherwise is like saying when getting the question, "Are you a god?" saying no.
If somebody asks you if you
Nothing
are a
good
god,
can come out of saying no.
you say yes. Actually, I'm glad you called in because do we got you for a few or do you have to run?
Oh no, you got me for a few.
Oh, sweet. Okay. This was something that I was hoping that you would call in for. It was what I had mentioned earlier just before the show started.
Oh, that.
Are you familiar with Freddy Krueger?
Freddy Krueger?
Yes.
Heard of him. I think I watched one of the movies.
Okay. I asked Kevin what he figured Freddy was in regards to what sort of paranormal entity he was. And then I was thinking to myself, the murders that he was sort of linked to one way or the other, okay, throughout all of his films, okay, people basically being slashed left and right. You being as a detective, how would you interpret these paranormal murders with a lens from a real eye?
That's an interesting question.
All right. Well, since now Freddy Krueger goes after people in their dreams, right?
That is correct.
Yes.
Nope.
Okay, so there probably isn't any forensic evidence that would lead a regular crime scene investigator to or detective to suspect that the people are getting killed in their dreams.
Well,
now,
the kick is...
in the movies, are there physical wounds on the body?
Yes,
or are they
there
just
is.
dead?
Whatever happens
Or no-
in the dream happens to them
the body.
physically in reality. And the thing is that they all seems to center around in the same geographical location that Krueger used to stalk when he was still alive. And the murders are under the same MO.
Yeah.
Okay, then the police, if it's the same MO as Freddy Krueger used to do when he was alive, and everybody knows that, and as far as the law enforcement community is concerned, Freddy's dead.
That's right.
Then they would probably be looking either at a follower or a copycat.
And I believe we have another
Now-
caller as well.
Forgive me, I only saw one of them, and it's a
Yeah.
long time ago.
Fair enough.
Did he use a knife?
Knives on his hand.
Yep. 4 blades.
Knives? Oh,
I
The
want to
glove.
say
Knives
there's something
are-
like 9
all right.
or so
This
inches
is
long.
sort of combining forensic science with sympathetic magic. If there are knives on his hands that he uses to inflict the wounds,
Yes.
then those knives could leave tool marks on at least the bones of the victims.
Right.
Which they could
Given
compare.
that the same knives are being used, and it's what happens in the dream happens with real life, then the same tool, the medical examiner would probably find the same tool marks on each of the body. Applying one thing I love as far as magic's concerned is the sympathetic magic, like calls to like, or we say in the crime lab, every contact leaves a trace. So so you've got so that would at least link the murders.
Yep.
And if Freddy used those knives, did he use those knives when he was still alive?
Yes. He actually had varying gloves that he would put on, but his one that was most frequently used was 4 blades upon each of his individual fingers
Except the
at
thumb,
about
obviously.
6
to
inches
9
in length.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me digress for a minute. The movie I now want to see is Freddy Krueger versus Wolverine.
Oh yes, that would be awesome.
Somebody needs to make this happen.
It will if somebody has not already done a combination combo. We got
3
3
callers?
new callers coming in.
No, one call. So you got 3 all. Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, other callers.
anniversary.
Who do we have here?
It's Patrick Thomas.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Pat.
Great timing.
I'm good. Oh, great. I strive for that. Chuck.
And
Congratulations.
it was
Hey,
our
Chuck.
third.
Chuck.
Yes, Chuck.
Hi.
So we've got some of our favorite guests, in fact.
Wow. So who have we got on the line? We've got Chuck. We've got Miss Detective French,
Yep. Crime scene supervisor.
crime
specifically.
scene supervisor. Forgive
And
me.
Patrick Thomas.
And Patrick Thomas.
one of my favorite, two
There
of
we
my
go.
favorite authors, and John and Patrick, also frequent collaborators with each other. I've been wanting to have the two of you on together
Right.
for a while. And Chuck is a colleague investigator.
And you also have Patrick T. Phibbs, which is the name
That's
Pat
true.
uses when he commits children's fiction.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, I have 3 books being released in December, 2 middle readers and a picture book.
Awesome.
So yes, I am now a children's author.
Congratulations to you, sir.
Congratulations to you.
Hands down.
Thank you, thank you.
It is all kinds of awesome when we can get a meeting of the minds like this. I should definitely get. You want to know what? I think we should all do a collaborative writing project similar to Lord Byron's cabin,
Oh, castle, not cat.
Okay.
the cabin on the lake.
Same thing, no
That
difference.
got us Frankenstein and didn't Polidori write a vampire novel?
Yep.
Yep,
the
that's
first
where it
vampire
was.
novel in English, in fact.
Well, technically, Byron started it, got bored, and he picked it up.
Yep.
To be fair, Byron couldn't keep his attention on anything for a very long
True.
period
This
of
is
time.
why he mostly wrote poetry, not long novels.
The same thing with Percy Shelley standing there right with his wife in the cabin with them, and all kinds of writing came out of there.
Personally, this is the thing that fascinates me about that story, because you have two of the greatest literary minds of the Romantic period, Lord Byron and Percy Shelley, and two complete unknowns, Mary Goodwin, who wrote only one other piece of fiction in her life, and that was after Frankenstein. Her mother is, of course, one of the first feminists, Mary Wollstonecraft. And then you have John Polidori, who was a physician, not a writer. And the two complete unknowns produced two incredibly important pieces of fiction, and the two legendary writers came up with nothing.
Thank you. Well, there's an interesting parallel here to throw on. You have Frankenstein and you got Dracula. You have Jason and you have Freddy. If you really think about it, it's a retelling. You know, and every single horror icon could easily refill into the old Universal slots.
Although it does occur to me, we have the perfect combination here
That's true.
to get. I mean, Chuck is a fellow investigator, and Patrick is a fantasy horror writer, and John, it's like, what are your guys' thoughts on what Freddy is?
Yeah, what is Freddy?
Before, go ahead.
Yeah, that's a good. A demonic possession of the subconscious.
I kind of like that.
That's good. We've got another caller.
Oh, wow.
Holy
Yeah.
cow!
See?
Sweet.
Hello,
Arthur?
Join
calling
join
from
the
Omnicom.
chaos. What, Arthur?
Yes. Calling
Hello,
from Omnicom.
Arthur.
Huzzah.
And our friend Arthur Moyer, who's currently running Omnicom. Because this is a really cool night.
Yeah. It is all kinds of awesome. We're getting everybody coming out of the frickin' woodwork. It's awesome.
Well, you kind of requested.
You know, I mean, did I like actually did I trance our audience into calling?
It finally worked.
This is hands down the biggest number of callers we've had all at once.
Well, as far as Patrick and Arthur go, I know I messaged both of them.
And I've messaged everyone that's here as well.
Sure. Let the hypnotist not get any credit.
Wait, but did you message?
How's the night going for everybody?
Wait, did you message the crazy lady from Las Vegas and ask her to call?
We lost her number. In all honesty, we lost her number.
Yeah.
That
That was
would
totally
be
on purpose. Not on purpose.
Awesome. Get a crank caller and let all of us just gang up. Come on.
This situation, that would be really unfair.
All right.
So
I just
how's
did
the
a
night
quick-
of everybody's going?
Good. So, Arthur,
I just did a quick internet search for dream monsters. And And in the Iranian mythology, there's something called a baktak. It comes to you at night, sits on your chest, gives you sleep
And suffocates
paralysis, makes you suffer horrific nightmares.
Well, there's a whole series of creatures
Oh, like a
throughout the
cat.
world like that. In fact, the entire word nightmare comes from night mara, mara being an Old English word for demon.
And not for nothing, we all got cats that love sitting on our chests in the middle of the night.
Mine always like to sit on my hip.
Witches are supposed to do it. There's a type of phenomenon common to Canada called hag attacks, which is exactly what you just described.
You just described my ex-wife. What? Got you, Larry!
So there are different ways the dead can rise and be used. Sometimes they are, spirits. They can be used as guardians. They can be used as protectors. So the Romero zombies can't be reasoned with, and
Right.
most of our zombies in literature today are based on the Romero zombies. But there
Exactly.
are other kinds, and there is actually, apparently you can use tetrodotoxin to make somebody so comatose that they would follow your instructions. And one of the places you can get it is a puffer fish, which is why it's not good to eat that kind of sushi unless it's prepared by someone who knows what they're doing.
Patrick's
So there are
100%
all
on
different
target.
origins of zombies.
Now,
You reminded me of a good movie from the 70s, the non-Romero movie. I don't know if anybody ever saw the movie Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things.
Yep, I've seen
Yes.
that one.
We have yet to.
Yeah, to see, that was a good example because, there was the film crew, the hippie film crew. They go to the island. They get that satanic book to raise the dead, but of course they F it up, and then of course eventually the guy who read the book, they turn on him and kill him. And
wasn't there a movie called Serpent in the Rainbow that
Yes.
also covered that as well?
It's based on a true story as well.
Yeah.
So there's a movie that was done
Yeah.
by Wes Craven called The Serpent in the Rainbow about an ethnobotanist by the name of Wade Davis who went to Haiti because there's a report of a man by the name of Clairvaux Narcisse. He was pronounced dead in a Haitian hospital by two doctors, one of whom was trained in the United States. 10 years later, after being buried, I might add, he wandered into town, talked to people that he had known, had specific memories that only he should have known. So drug companies in the United States sent Davis down there to try to figure out what was causing this phenomenon because they thought this could be perfect for putting people into a anesthetic state when you need to knock them
Long-term
out.
comas.
Yes, exactly. And Davis wrote a book on his experiences called The Serpent in the Rainbow that Wes Craven later would turn into a movie.
Yeah.
If anybody knows him,
But,
I'd also
yeah.
love to have Wade Davis on the show.
Oh yeah. But
I think there's.
I do have to go. I mean, I know I'm.
Yeah,
happy
you've
to
got your
call in,
convention.
but I mean,
Thank you so
know
much for
it's
calling,
my
Arthur.
convention.
indeed, thank you very much,
But I
Arthur, for
hope
calling.
you guys
in.
are doing great.
Yep, we're having a really good 50th episode.
And you just made it better.
Excellent. Excellent.
All
Well,
of you.
thank you.
Have a good night and have a
Hope
good
it continues
con.
to go well.
Yep.
Indeed.
So that was our friend Arthur
Good night,
Lawyer, Omnimancer, and Magician.
right.
Omnimancer and Magician. I have to admit. You want to know what? I heard
I think
Omnicon.
there's all kinds of zombies, just like there's
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
various kinds of vampires.
Mhm.
From different cultures, and even even in modern literature, there's different vampires. The rules basically depend on who's doing the writing.
Mhm.
I know I've written 5 zombie stories, only 2 of which follow the traditional Romero type zombie.
And I think Romero
One
is.
act-
the only- I'm sorry.
I said one actually follows the whole Walking Dead thing because that's what the editor wanted.
John also has one where only the dead can travel through time.
Oh,
So
that's a
they
good
send back
Interesting.
zombies to do time travel. Because living tissue can't go through time. That's one of John's too.
That's a good one.
I don't
And-
think I've read that one, although
And
I've
in
heard of the
Empty
idea.
Graves, which is my zombie book, I tried to make each of the zombies different, or at least most of them. So we've got zombies raised by the cauldron, by the author's cauldron. We've got demonic zombies. We've got vampire zombies. We have reanimated people. We have a zombie caused by a wish to a genie or a djinn. So there are different
You have
ways to raise the
zombies?
dead. Zombie-licious,
Rats,
of course,
rats,
the most
zombies?
popular one from that.
Wait,
Yes.
Zombielicious, oh yes.
Vampire zombies. That sounds like. You know what? Now I'm not criticizing. I'm not.
Oh, no, it
I'm making that
actually works very
blatantly
well.
clear. But I mean, we're treading into Comic-Con creative cosplay territory here. Okay. I mean, come
There
on.
are worse tiers to compare that to. That's going through my head.
Yeah, I mean,
I've read the particular story. It works out nicely.
well, all right. Kind of like to continue to piggyback on the theme a little bit. All right, you've got Jason. Obviously, is Frankenstein. Okay, the dead reanimated to life.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got Freddy, which obviously, with the quip and suaveness of his, and violation of the bedroom, which is actually one of the key fears that Craven kind of based a lot of Freddy's finesse to is obviously the vampire. Who would be our creature from the Black Lagoon?
Or the incubus or the succubus, yeah.
Or incubus
Yep.
or succubus. Who would be our
Which
creature from the
vampires,
Black
incubus,
Lagoon?
and so Chucky would be a golem.
Yeah,
Chucky would be a golem, yes.
Chucky needs a burn.
Okay.
Chucky is basically a doll golem, in fact.
Yes. Well, wait a minute,
Wasn't there a
though.
movie out not too long ago that kind of took a variation on the creature from the Black Lagoon? The Shape of Water.
Shape of Water, won
Oh.
an Academy Award.
Okay,
That
I
was
haven't
a
seen
good-
it yet.
Well,
That was a
haven't
good
seen it yet.
movie.
I've been meaning to.
It was a
Gone
it was
when
it
you
was a
have to
great
want- you wanna
movie.
use
Everybody
a creature
was
from the Black Lagoon going with the deep ones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Say,
they're
I know a
public
little
domain.
bit of movie trivia having to do with the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so if you were to line up the Universal monsters in chronological order of when their movie came out, you notice that the last one was the creature from the Black Lagoon, and then they start going into aliens.
Right.
In the movie Monsters vs. Aliens, they decided to name that creature Link.
because he's missing.
Not just that, but he's the link between aliens and traditional monsters.
Meh.
Yeah.
There's another fun one with that.
Alien was
I-
a classic haunted house story.
What was that?
I think Alien was your classic haunted house story.
Oh, yes,
Yes.
in space. No
In
question.
space.
The movie that proved that, yes, you can.
And possession in a way.
Yes!
Oh,
very
yeah.
much so.
Yeah.
But it's the movie that proved that you can
Actually,
do
that would
science
actually-
fiction horror very well.
Yes.
What was that movie that was basically supposed to be hell on a spaceship?
Event
Event
Horizon.
That's what it was.
Pandora did good
the
too.
man who played the creature credited as the Gill Man, Rico Browning,
Right.
he's still alive, and
Oh, wow.
he made an appearance in September here in Baltimore at the Mid-Atlantic Nostalgia Convention.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Wow, given so many of the classics, Boris and Bella are long
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, Bella.
It's cool that he's still
Yeah,
around.
he's the last surviving. He's the last survivor of the classic movie monsters.
Oh, man. That's insane, man.
Awesome and kind of sad just to think of how many of the horror, Christopher Lee, Lon Chaney Jr.
Christopher
everybody-
Lee, I mean,
so
we
we've
lost
lost so many
the
of the
most
greats.
recent,
Yeah.
I mean.
Vincent Price.
Yeah, Vinnie Price. I mean, Christopher Lee was in everything.
Yeah.
He
oh,
has
good
the
Lord.
most movie credits, I think, in Hollywood history.
Throw a
doesn't
stick,
he?
you're gonna hit him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was in everything, and he
And a
was.
huge
A
Right.
majority of his stuff, especially early on, was Dracula movies.
Of course.
Because they kept guilting him into it.
Because he was good at it.
Well, no, the thing was,
And they
eventually,
kept paying him.
Yeah.
he didn't want to get typecast as Dracula, although he wound up loving playing villain. He always loved playing the villains because it was the most fun.
Well, it's also because the fact that he was in real life a hero. So when
Yeah.
you're in real life a hero, you have fun playing the villain.
Yeah.
Because wasn't he like a
He
member
was a real
of like
life Nazi hunter.
he was a real life Nazi hunter. He was like a member. He was a spy.
Yeah, member of the organization for ungentlemanly warfare,
Yeah.
just like Ian Fleming, who was a good friend of his.
Yeah, I mean you can't
And a relative, in fact.
You can't go any gooder
Ian
than
Fleming,
that.
really?
He has
Yeah.
to play a villain
James
after
Bond.
that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just to balance it out.
Maybe he knows, of course, he knows what he was looking for.
Yep.
Exactly.
Channel that.
Well, there's the great stories from one where he was doing The Man with the Golden Gun, and he was told to act the way that he thinks someone who was shot would act. So he acted the way he's seen people who got shot act. Which is,
Exactly.
he looked slightly confused and then slowly slumped to the floor. Or, Peter Jackson during Lord of the Rings asked him, make the sound that someone would make. You think someone would make if they were stabbed in the back. I don't have to imagine it.
There you go. I remember what it was like when I took a bullet. I took one look down and I screamed like a little bitch. I didn't even realize I got shot. I thought I twisted my leg.
Other people I've talked to who've been shot describe it very similarly.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that you don't feel the pain until you realize what's happened. And then when you do, it feels like broken glass on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun.
I was going to say the other fun
Doesn't sound like it.
one with the creature from the Black Lagoon, which I always found ironic. One of my favorite childhood movies, Monster Squad.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah,
Credited
Monster
as
Squad
one of
is
the
also
best-
available on Amazon Prime
Yep.
if you have them.
But is widely credited as one of the best makeup jobs for a Gillman in movie history, despite the fact he's barely in the movie.
You know what? The thing is that it has the most awesome line ever uttered in
Wolfman's
film.
got nards.
Wolfman's got nards?
Yeah.
I still haven't seen it.
We need to fix this.
I remember being
The look
on
of violence. You look like I kicked your dog. What is wrong with you?
By the way, folks, she's only seen John Wick because I told her to watch it.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen John Wick.
But
I'm not the only one.
But actually, I was recently on a Facebook group of mine, and it was tell a movie quote that gives the title away without saying the title.
Oh,
So
wait,
guess
what?
guess what one mine was.
Wolfman's got nards.
Yep.
There
Hey,
can be only
Gene?
one.
Cliff Warner says that he's here.
That is the other magician I told you about.
Oh, cool.
He's saying hi because I told him to tune into you.
Hi, Cliff.
Hey, rock on,
Hey.
Cliff. How you doing?
Got another magician in the chat.
All right, so we've got so
And actually, I would go back to Jason. I don't think he's Frankenstein as I've been thinking about it. I think he's the mummy
you think?
because they violated his resting place.
No, they did not. The only reason why
he was
Jason
he was resting, and then they were desecrating his resting place with their sex and drugs.
Oh,
and
no.
It was desecrating his his.
Yeah, there's a point. There's a
No.
ritual
his
element
resting
to
place.
it.
No.
And so he
No.
came out to seek revenge.
No, it wasn't that. His
So
mother.
it's more-
His mother despised the sex and drugs, and she blamed the counselors on doing all the sex and drugs. Is the reason why her boy drowned in the lake because they were supposed to be watching him, and because of that, her own rage towards anything that was teenagery and wasn't a nun at the time immediately meant it must die. So her own orders and her own decisions and her own motivations transferred onto Jason,
Which
That's
fits
racist.
the traditional zombie.
which fits the traditional zombie, or actually, wouldn't it fit the traditional golem too?
No, golems were usually created to protect.
In
You could change their orders, though.
Granted. But the classic golem story,
Right.
which comes from Prague, he was
But he
created
doesn't
to
have the
protect.
classic weakness. You know, if you take off his hockey mask, he doesn't die.
True.
You know, if he doesn't have anything written on his forehead or the word of God written on paper inside his mouth.
The only thing that could
easily
actually
take
kill
out,
him-
But yeah,
the only thing that can kill him is to drown him, straight up. He'll swim. He'll swim fast. He can hold his water for a while. But beyond that, you drown him, he stays done. That's just it. Otherwise, he waits
Until the
until
next
his mother wakes him.
Until the next movie.
That's just it. When his mother wakes him, that's when he rises again.
Although actually, they apparently, officially, canonically, they killed him in the Jason in Space movie.
Yeah, Jason X.
In Jason X, he does die. But don't they like set the entire atmosphere on fire or something to kill him?
No, he basically went through atmospheric reentry, and that's what killed him.
Yeah.
Ironically, here's an interesting little crossover bit. The person that rode him into the atmospheric entry is the same person that played the Candyman.
Nice.
Okay, Tony Todd. So you got Candyman riding on the back of Jason into atmospheric reentry into a planet. That's instant win.
Well, here's another fun crossover for you. There is a book. So they novelized the Jason movies.
Okay, they novelized the Jason movies.
I assume they did the Freddy ones too, but they made novels of the Jason movies.
Uh-huh.
And the guy who wrote those wrote a sequel to Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday.
Right.
That crossed over Friday the 13th, the movie series, and Friday the 13th, the TV series.
There is a shared character between the two of them
Yes,
in the movies.
I know.
Yeah.
And that's part of the crossover point, is them meeting Ryan again, and when Ryan's memory, it's after Ryan's been age regressed,
Right.
And now Ryan's memories of what he used to do is starting to come back to him, and to add a third crossover element to the whole thing, it's basically stated that it was Lovecraftian magic that brought Jason back to begin with.
I
was
believe it.
It was a spell from the Necronomicon.
I believe it. Although I will say
which
this.
means he could cross over with Ash.
Yeah,
Yes!
there you go.
And he did, in fact.
He did, in fact, at one point.
There's
In the comics,
Yes,
but
two-
not in the movies, right?
He was on 2 comic series, and they were the original sequel to Freddy vs. Jason was Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash.
Yep.
The problem was basically Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell said Ash is the only hero of the 3. He should come out on top, and Paramount and the owners of the other 2 went Freddy should come out top, Jason should come out on top, and Ash, Bruce and Sam both said, no, we want this to be the hero comes out on top. We're gonna walk otherwise, and they kept their money where their mouth is and walked.
And there you go. Now, I remember the original ending to Freddy vs. Jason that was originally scripted. I'm not sure if you might know this.
I know.
You know this, but maybe our either those that are on the call or our listeners do not know.
I don't.
I'm sorry?
No, I don't. I'd be interested in hearing that. I mean, I love the ending of the movie, but how was it with... Yeah, I'm definitely curious about how it was originally scripted.
The original scripted ending, all right? Both Jason and Freddy are both back in hell. They both realize where they're at, and they're about to come at it with one another. The next thing you know, both of them are suddenly engulfed in chains and pulled apart. And suddenly somebody emerges from the shadows, draped in a leather trench coat with several shining pins protruding from the skin of his head. And he simply states, "Is there a problem,
I
gentlemen?"
had heard that too.
Oh, wow.
That would have been an awesome crossover.
Oh yes,
God's
Well,
yes.
that would have been the sequel.
yeah.
Oh, yes. Hands down without
There were several
a doubt.
attempts at a sequel. One was, of course, to bring in Pinhead.
Bradley would have loved
Oh,
to
yeah.
have done it. Doug Bradley flat out stated if they ever make another film where there is a crossover with Freddy and Jason, Doug Bradley would love
Well,
to
you know
do
the
it.
big movie that's supposed to have come out, but I can't find it for the life of me.
What?
Death House.
I heard of
Do you guys know about
that.
Death House?
Yes, but please tell our
Callers,
listeners.
do you know about Death House?
So,
I don't.
So Death House was designed to be the Expendables of Brian. Our
Brian!
missing co-host has finally turned up.
Awesome sauce!
But so Death House was scripted to be the Expendables of horror. Doug Bradley, Robert Englund, what's the guy who's famous for playing Jason?
Kane Hodder.
Kane Hodder, Jamie Lee Curtis, the guy who played Chucky, the guy who played Candyman, the guy
Brad
who played
Dourif, Tony Todd. Keep on going, man. I
Played,
got a whole list in my head.
like every major person from horror in the last several decades was coming to get together to do this movie about a supermax prison that houses the worst of the worst and does like all the paranormal research and stuff the U.S. government does.
Nice.
And I don't know what happened to it. It was supposed to have come out by now.
Yeah, it says release date February 23rd, 2018.
But I keep finding conflicting things that it's come out, that it is still coming out. I can't find it anywhere.
I mean,
online.
it has a 4.9
We can-
on IMDb and a 79% on Google users.
So it did come out. It's just
You missed it.
Straight
Yeah.
to video?
yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be big.
Try Netflix.
I have. I've tried
Is it on
Netflix,
Netflix?
Amazon, Hulu.
Let's try Google Shopping. It's not even giving me that option to do Google Shopping.
Yeah, you can't even buy it on Amazon. Like, buy it on Amazon, let
Let's see
alone
here.
watch it
Death
on
House
Amazon.
DVD.
Yeah.
It
Anyway.
has to be.
Guys, I'm gonna bow out. I just
Okay.
wanted to say again, happy 50th show anniversary.
Patrick,
Awesome.
so much
Thank
for
Thank
joining
you for
us.
having me back on.
You're always, as I said to Karen, and I'll say to everybody else here, you guys are always welcome. You know, we love our guests.
Indeed.
Well, thank you. Maybe one time you could have John and I on, and I'm sure we could talk to you for hours.
Yeah,
Without a doubt.
You guys get in touch with me, and we'll set that up.
Okay, so as
Okay,
far as
sounds
DVD
great.
goes, apparently it's supposed to be released at December 11th, 2018.
Okay.
December 11th, red letter date.
Yep. So anyone who wants to check that out.
Indeed.
Brian, you want to come in and join us?
Come on, join us.
Join us.
One of us. Weebo wabba, weebo wabba. I will come closer to Kev.
Wires.
Yep.
I'm stuck.
You've missed Karen Kimmel-Tipper was the first person to call in. Patrick just signed out. Arthur was here. Chuck's here. Chuck, you still here?
I'm still here.
And John, you still here?
I'm still here.
Yep, we still got John French and Chuck from what's the name of your paranormal group again, Chuck? I should know this.
Just Chuck's Paranormal Adventures. I'm the solo guy, so I really don't have a group. So
We should
that way,
form
that way
one.
I avoid all the paradrama of everybody wanting to be top
tell me
dog,
about
do it my way, do it this way. I don't feel like doing research. I don't feel like doing evidence review. So this way, it's all on me. I don't have to worry about other people and their.
Yeah, I've had those issues as well.
Well, look, you are awesome as long as you're not waving an Adachi around inside of a building and claiming to open up demonic doors just to take care of other demons in the place.
No, because that shtick's already been used. I got to come up with something even more
Another
dramatic
caller?
and creative. So.
Okay, we have somebody else on the line.
Who we got?
Welcome aboard.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh my!
So who's this?
I think I know that
Aaron,
voice.
I am Baron Voltage's girlfriend.
Ah, yes.
The ever popular area.
Oh yes, the ever popular. area.
I thought I recognized your voice.
There we go.
Yeah, I have
That's
one of those annoying voices that you can't.
I wouldn't
get
say
out of
it's
your
annoying.
Oh my! So, how you liking the show so far?
I actually am just watching it now, but I thought I would bring up something that I've been watching on Netflix, which is actually quite interesting. I think that may actually be good to talk about on the show.
Okay.
Fire away.
Okay, so I've been watching this show on Netflix called Dark Tourist, and it's a journalist
yes.
from New Zealand who goes to all these different countries and looks into like either paranormal stuff or places of interest, like, you know, where only like the crazy like tourists would want to go. Like
People like me.
yesterday, yesterday I was listening to a podcast and they had mentioned how there is this haunted house in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that only the rednecks do this because they're crazy. And I was actually talking to Baron Voltage about it because he dabbles in recreational hypnosis. And there is this haunted house where it's like you have to sign a 46-page disclosure agreement with the person that runs the haunted house, saying that they are not liable for you getting broken bones or anything like that.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
one of those
how
extreme cases.
Yeah,
that
it's
stuff
one of the
is
extreme
haunted.
haunted houses.
It's an
There's one in
extreme
New York
haunted
as
house
well.
where it's not like, you know, where it's like, you know, you go to like a haunted house, like let's say Headless Horseman haunted house in
Oh, no.
Upper New York
It's
State,
like water. They're going to
where,
subject
like,
you to
they
water
touch you
torture.
and like rattle you and scream in your face and touch you. This psychological haunted house is to the nth degree scary. Like they will literally tape your eyes, and then like videotape you and psychologically torture you. Like
Yeah.
the host of the show, he could barely go like 30 seconds without saying, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
The second guy that went, he's an adrenaline junkie. And he was dipped repeatedly in ice water, and the guy was like, I want you to hold your breath for 30 seconds. And if you don't hold your breath for 30 seconds, we're going to keep doing this to you. He tapped out after 2 minutes. Then there was a couple that went in, and I think they got dunked in ice water. They got buried alive. The wife, I think, lasted 2 or 3 hours, and then the husband tapped out shortly after her. The longest person that lasted in that place was like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Wow. Just lasting that long. I've heard about this. There's one called Black Hole that happens in New York.
Yeah.
And they're infamous. I mean, like, strap you down, subject you to actual proper waterboarding.
Yeah.
And force you to watch
that's what they
horrific
do with
videos
this
and things like that.
psychological haunted house. They will like literally tape you down, put you in a
Yeah.
straitjacket, make you feel helpless because they want to psychologically.
For the record,
torture you,
no, you will
break
not ever
you
catch
down.
me going into one of those
It
places.
sounds like that's where Deadpool was formed at.
Shh, nobody's supposed to
Well, it
know
also
what I've
helps
really
that the
did.
guy
And you can
was
pay
a-
lots of money to go to
was
these
a
things, too.
former ex-military sergeant.
Yeah.
Yeah, even former military try and do it. They get out. They they tap out after like a good 15 to 20 minutes crying like little babies.
Oh yeah.
There are a lot of actual places that are like this. I know of one that was out in L.A. that I think L.A. or California that just recently closed down because of complaints and whatnot. And the waiting list alone for that one was like 3 years to get in.
That's
Wow.
the same haunted house. That's
No,
the
it's a
same
similar
haunted
one. They're
house
all
that's
over the
in
country.
No,
Tennessee.
there's a
They started
number
out
of
in
them.
California.
Yeah.
But then they moved to Tennessee, and I want to say Louisiana or Alabama.
No.
There's a few.
There's
around
a
the
few of
country.
them, believe it or not, Aaron. There's like maybe about a good 8 or 10 of them that are like that. So it's a serious extreme thing. But here's something I actually think would be interesting. I think for a good haunt, throw people in Easton State Penitentiary overnight.
You know that they do
Oh,
a
yeah.
haunted house in Eastern State.
I'm talking overnight.
Yeah, they do it at night, and I've been there overnight.
Yeah. And how much did you experience, and how
Quite a
scared were
lot.
you?
Not very, because
Yeah,
that's
they
that I'm
also
used to.
charge quite a bit of money to
Yeah.
do it.
To do an
I
overnight
would be
investigation
too
is $50
paranoid to even
each an
fall
hour.
asleep. I would literally be sitting there with my onesie on, holding my stuffed elephant, and just holding a flashlight, being like, "All right, fuckers, come after me."
Yeah, Eastern is. This is something I could say in general from experience, because I've been in abandoned mental hospitals. I've been in abandoned and, for that matter, current hospitals. They are, spiritually speaking, are not nice places, and it's not because of the people there. It's the thing is, negative spirits, demons, and things of that nature are drawn to human suffering. And
Yeah, and especially psychological
Yes.
wards like that.
and a lot of
Considering, not to interrupt, I'm in the medical field, and I'm very drawn to how we as a society, between this day and age and in the early 1800s, early 1900s, treated our fellow man with mental illnesses.
oh yeah,
Like we would
horrific.
lock them in cages. We would throw them, we would chain them to walls and leave them for days on end.
Treat them like a
And-
circus. Charge people to go visit and see them.
Now, Kevin,
Yeah.
you stated there were things that you've experienced in Easton that were extreme. Could you please tell us some of them?
Well, I wouldn't actually call them particularly extreme. I mean, they're pretty standard for haunted houses, actual haunted houses, I should say.
Very well.
But one of the most active parts of the prison is cell block 12. So, most notably, my mentor, the late Lou Gentili, was physically attacked on live television there years and years and years ago on the very first season of Fox Family Channel's Scariest Places on Earth. They did a segment, and he's doing EVP in one of the cells, and he provokes it and demands in God's name it reveal itself, and it looks like somebody hits his hand with a sledgehammer. You don't see what hits it, but you just see like him fly back. He had to soak his hand in ice for an hour. So I'm sitting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is a high time for demonic activity, at the top of the cell block. I had at the time believed incorrectly that it was where death row was, but they didn't execute prisoners there. But it was where the more extreme prisoners were held, and we're sitting up on the top of there, down at the far end of it, farthest away from the entrance, and doing EVPs. And I'm seeing these shadows running up and down the hallways. I'm seeing lights flying up and down all over the place. We're hearing voices. We're hearing music. It is definitely one of the most active prisons in the country. One of the most active anythings in the United States, in fact.
How pleasant.
I know a jail
Ghost
that's
wave.
I know a jail that's actually active during the daytime, but you have to go into the basement to find it.
Which jail?
It's a smaller known one up in there's this little town in Pennsylvania called Jim Thorpe.
Yep, that jail. I thought that's the one you were thinking of.
And I've actually been in it numerous times because they do the tours year
Yeah.
round. My family used to go camping up there. And some of the back trails have a few minor things along it, especially if you're along where some of the old coal is around. But as they're going through the tour, afternoon-ish, it wasn't that strong last time I was up there, where they had the hand on the
Yeah, the
wall.
handprint on the wall. This is the one that held the Molly Malones, wasn't it?
Molly McGuire's, which was nothing more than a smear campaign. However, down in the very, very small basement, they had like I want to say 3 to 4 cells. No light, no toilet, no bed, nothing. It was complete and total sensory deprivation, especially when you were down there by yourself, because this is, back in the 1800s, they didn't really have, padding or soundproofing or anything like that. It was thick fucking stone that was, pardon my language, that's surrounding you on all sides. And very little could come out through that doorway where the window was, because they needed to be able to see and to see that you were there. But the far end of the hallway gets really, really suffocating. Like, they normally have a flashlight or whatnot. They never installed lights down there because they didn't want to get interfered with. But the very end was where they kept the worst of them. If whatever you did to screw up was that bad, and stuff lingers there, and it was actually fairly active. It was like pushing you out, going, "Get the hell away from me."
I got an account about that prison, in fact. So a very good friend of mine, Gil Kanan, who has been involved in a number of events, has reports that he shot a recreation of the Molly Maguire hanging in that prison. It was one of the weirdest shots of his life. Let me reread this. Hold on. That was one of the weirdest shots of my life. Sorry, I had a thing pop up.
Don't doubt that.
Gil, feel free to call in about that. 609-807-2492. And yeah, again, for anyone who's curious, it was the first season of Fox Family Channel's Scariest Places on Earth. It was like the first or second episode. Lou was on there in Eastern State.
Wow.
I'm thinking
There
of...
was actually a thing that, because I live in West Milford, New Jersey, and there was a thing about Scariest Places on Earth. Number 2 was Clinton Road in West Milford. And for people that don't know about Clinton Road is a very winding road in West Milford, and there is a lot of rumors around West Milford. I mean, around Clinton Road. One of the rumors is that if you go down Clinton Road on a very dark night, there are no headlamps. There are no street lights. And there is a thing called the Phantom the Phantom truck. So you could be driving down Clinton Road, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's a Phantom truck behind you that will literally ride your bumper to get you to crash into Dead Man's Turn.
That seems to
Or
be...
it will flash their headlights at you nonstop, and then all of a sudden will disappear out of nowhere.
That would
There's
be
another
good.
one about the if you
There's a whole bunch of
Oh, yeah, I've heard about
there
it.
is a whole bunch of ones that are like that.
There's supposed to be a satanic cult operating in the area, isn't there?
and here's the funny thing.
I think it's called the Devil's Circle.
There's
a satanic cult that
And now her sound is going weird.
Yeah, it is.
Aaron? Something's wrong with your sound.
hold on one second.
If I could lighten the mood for a minute.
Yes.
Sure.
Please.
You're talking about the Phantom Cab. You know that guy in space? I can't think of his name. He was doing Spaceballs. He could make all the noises with his mouth.
Michael Winslow.
Oh, yeah.
Before him, there was a guy named Wes Harrison, and he could do just about any noise in the world with just himself and a microphone. Well, he didn't just limit this to the stage. He had a pickup truck that he had equipped with a loudspeaker.
Oh, Lord.
I see where this is going.
So he would do stuff, just probably illegal and dangerous, but he would, when he was like driving back and forth, and he would, and at night, he would go through this small town. And when he went through the town, he would make the sound of a locomotive. There weren't any tracks anywhere around. But people would wake up hearing the sound of a train going through their town.
Oh, wow. And apparently we have more callers.
We got another caller. Who we got?
Hello, you're on the air.
Yes, me again.
Oh, okay.
Okay, she hung up and
And
came
now
back.
your sound's better.
And now my sound is better. But
And Gene,
as I
were you
was
saying there were
about
two?
Clinton Road, yes, there is the thing about the whole satanic rituals happening. Like, I think it's called the Devil's
Three.
Circle.
Okay.
And my ex-boyfriend, actually told me how he went to, I think, Clinton Road one night, and there were a bunch of people there, like, trying to perform a satanic ritual where they were going to sacrifice a goat. And he stumbled upon them, and he was, like, screaming at them to, like, not hurt the goat, not hurt the goat. And the people were coming after him, like, and then all of a sudden, I think what happened was, like, I think they were playing aerosol or something. They, like, fired a gun at the people trying to perform the satanic ritual. They ended up running away, and they ended up saving the goat's life. But when he told me that, I was like, whoa.
I mean, there's a lot of legends and whatnot that come through. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like almost every single county in New Jersey has that one winding road that everybody talks about. Monmouth County, you have Igo Road,
Shades of Death Road.
Shades of Death Road. I mean, there's
places
tons.
in Pennsylvania as
yeah,
well.
tons as well. And you know what? I mean, in all honesty, yeah, some of them can be a little bit on the trippy side and a bit, you know.
Gil shared some about what happened with him with the Melanie McGuire hanging thing. So every time they shot the actual hanging, they lost power entirely in the building, and apparently when they went back and reviewed the footage, all the sound got lost too.
How interesting!
And as I said in the chat, and I will confirm again, you know, to normal people this is bizarre. To an investigator, this is a day ending in why.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's now.
This is why you don't piss off evil spirits.
Even normal spirits will do this stuff to you.
A lot of them like
Yeah,
to pull pranks, period.
My big
I
bane
think
when I
that
go
segues nicely into
investigating
a
is the
story I wanna
battery
tell.
drainage, and and I could be in a place where, you know, like this, a good example, Burlington. Well, actually, that's not a good example, but there's places I've been in where there's benign spirits, and you got that fully charged 4-hour camcorder battery, and after 15 minutes, it's completely drained dry, and it's just, to me, it's my number one bane. I'm more annoyed when it happens, and I'm frightened that something's about to happen because the energy was drained.
It's like, not
So now I gotta
again.
go fish out another battery and replace it. And
It always seems to be out 15 minutes too, in my experience.
Well, that's all it takes for spirit to necessarily manifest itself. It drains all your batteries. It's like, okay, you want to what? It's like, I just had a can of Coke. It's Jolt Cola at the best. You know?
Well, I remember being with Lou at the Balroy Mansion in Philadelphia,
Yeah.
which is an interesting place. It was it's no longer open to the public as far as the last time I checked. It was owned by the last living descendant of General Meade from the Civil War. Had a bunch of really cool artifacts, like one of the first 5 grandfather clocks built in the United States, a silver serving set they used at a party after they signed the Declaration of Independence.
Nice.
And they saw lots of ghosts, including, in fact, Thomas Jefferson showed up from time to time around the grandfather clock. But there's the two funny stories I
He knows
remember
where France
are
is.
one, that there's a chair there.
He should have stayed.
That the chair has the ghost of a woman associated with it, and when the woman will occasionally beckon somebody to sit in the chair. 4 people have been beckoned by this woman to sit in that chair, and all 4 of them died within a year. Over the course of the night, before we got told which chair it was, both Lou and I were tempted to sit in exactly the chair in question.
Gee, I wonder. You see, this is why we can't take you places and why we can't have nice things.
Oh, yeah.
I was just about to say, this is why we can't have nice things.
And Lou's wandering around doing EVPs without me while I'm keeping an eye on the said chair. And again, brand new, fresh set of batteries in the quarter. 15 minutes, they're gone. And then it happened again.
You see, that was a spirit that knew what you were trying to do and just decided to screw with you.
Ghosts can be trolls, too.
Yes.
yes.
Now, actually...
Guys?
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Guys, if there's nothing else for me, I'm going to take off.
Okay, John, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for all of your support.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Sean.
And Kevin will be Matt and I will be at the Fairy Con again this year if you want to come by.
We're planning on coming by.
All righty,
See
we'll see you then.
Yep. Have a good night, John.
And Kevin,
Good night.
I gotta go too because I have to get up at 3:00 in the morning for work. So
Okay,
it's
Chuck,
just
thank you
about
for
my
joining
bedtime
us as well.
now.
You take it easy too, sir.
So happy anniversary again, 50
Thank
in the books, and looking forward to another 50.
Indeed.
Thank you,
Indeed.
my good sir. And again, like
All right,
everyone
you
else,
all-
you're welcome on anytime.
Indeed.
Great, thanks. You all take care now. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you much.
Have a
Okay.
good night, sir.
Okay.
And we're down to our
Hey,
last
bye-bye.
half hour.
So if you guys wanted to do anything,
If we wanna
you
do
might
any-
want to do it now.
Or would you
Oh, you
rather
didn't
start with some
already?
hypnosis?
That might take longer than this.
Probably.
Then do this.
Yeah, do the magic.
While he's setting it up, should
Wow,
I tell the story
Brian
of what
keeping
happened
order.
to me Tuesday night?
Yeah, why don't you do
Possibly.
that, hon?
And does anybody have a deck of playing cards?
No.
Not that'll work, no.
Oh.
I have several decks with me. None of them are going to be appropriate.
All right, so I have just taken over Kevin's security gig at a water treatment plant that we know for a fact is haunted.
Oh, yes.
Oh my.
We know at least one water elemental is there. We also know that the abandoned house just slightly down the road is haunted.
Right.
From that direction, and Tuesday night, I see this light start coming towards me. This light comes towards me, separates into 4 individual lights, manifests a 5th orange
Green
light, veers to the left, and disappears.
Green chair.
Don't need the chair.
Very well.
UFOs.
Yeah, it's UFO.
I was trying to figure out for a while what it was, and got me a little in my paranormal paranoia. Luckily, I had a friend, and I told her what happened, and she's like, "Oh, do you want me to check the area out?" And I go, "Sure." Yeah, it was some sort of thing, just pulling a prank.
Fairy, probably.
Go
I'm
figure.
85% sure it was a fairy.
And I tried to tell you exactly the same thing, I might add.
Yeah, no, you said it was likely fairy, but we were still not sure. Though now I'm pretty sure that's what's haunting the abandoned house, considering it came from that direction.
Quite possible.
And it apparently likes to use the light trick because it keeps appearing and disappearing randomly. And
That's why it's called fairy lights.
yeah.
And shall we? We're going to stick a sword through my producer's throat again.
Yeah.
Again?
Yep.
We did it once before.
Do you need me to strip?
It could help.
Okay, never mind then.
Yay for swords. They're always fun. It's a great cure for strep, I promise.
Oh, yeah.
Blow me.
Are you sure about that?
Oh, yeah. Clear that tickle in your throat right out.
Ew.
Blood all over. You feel it yet?
Not yet.
1, 2, 3.
Whoa, yay.
And if we could turn it to the side so everybody could get a good
Yay.
See, it clears that tickle in your throat right out. Guaranteed. And ready? 1, 2, 3.
No
You
blood.
gonna boot up your ass later?
Of course I am.
I'm not bad. She just tells her my game.
Very awesome.
And I have a little bit more on me.
Oh my.
Although we don't have time for me to get all of the bags of tricks out. Let's see. There we go.
I could read a person's mind.
Actually, Beth, stay up here. I'll need you for
Do,
this
do,
as well.
do, do, do,
Oh,
do.
great.
So, we have a magician's purse. It's not like a normal purse, because, normal purses have bags. Actually.
Why, you has money?
So we're going to reach into the purse.
Not
We're
usually.
going to pull out 1, 2 balls. I'm going to give 1 ball to her. Close your hand. Put the purse away. We're going to put the... We rub, we rub, we rub, we rub, we rub. Open your hand. 2 balls. Now we're going to take the 2 balls, close it up, and I'm going to find a 3rd ball. And now she's got all 3.
Dun, dun, dun.
You ready for a
Huzzah.
little hypnosis?
You really want me to train somebody out on this camera, don't you?
Yes!
There's a sacrificial lamb.
Maybe.
Brian is the one who originally volunteered.
Brian was tribute originally.
He was, wasn't he?
You still game, Brian?
We could try.
All right, I could do
Dab
this.
hat. I don't know what's gonna happen.
The thing is, I don't even need you to get out of that chair. That's
Okay.
the beautiful part. You could just be as relaxed as you can be.
All right.
All right. What I am going to do is I am going to take the headphones off, I suggest you do the same, because I
Okay.
want you to be able to hear my voice in its natural state.
All right.
Everybody else can be listening. Now, just to make sure that I can make everything clear here, everybody experiences trance in their own way. He's not going to fall asleep unless he's not had sleep in a while. He's very much like me most of the time.
Good reason not to use me.
Exactly. All right. Now, I want you just to, just be aware of your body. Just relax.
Okay.
Be as comfortable as you can be. If you're in a comfortable chair right now, or if you're, just be completely and totally relaxed. What I want you to do is I want you to breathe in deep through your nose and out your mouth. But here's the kick. When you're breathing in through your nose, I want that breath to take 3 seconds, and I want you to hold it for 3, and then let it out your mouth for 3.
Oh,
So it'd be,
square breathe.
yep, essentially.
That's
A
what
triangle breathing. Basically, in through the nose, out through the mouth, but you're holding it in for 3 seconds on all 3 bits. And I just want you to keep doing that. There you go, 3. In through the nose, 1, 2, 3. Hold it, 1, 2, 3. Out. 1, 2, 3. Good. Just be as relaxed as you can be. You can try and keep your eyes open if you want to. You don't have to. It'll be difficult, but sure. But the thing is that as you're breathing, your body's going to get a little bit more oxygenated. I'm going to explain what's happening. Right now, his body and his blood is going to be getting more and more oxygenated. You can keep doing the breathing. Don't stop. Don't forget. And as you're breathing in and out in that particular way, your body's just going to get more and more relaxed with every single breath. That's the beauty about breathing. It relaxes the body. Just get comfortable. If you need to, you can let your arms slouch to the side if you want to. You can just deep breathing in and out. There you go. The thing is that hypnosis is not an instant thing. He's doing fantastic, because normally Brian's our straight guy, which means he's fairly uptight and fairly straight up. Right now I'm actually seeing him slouch, and it's kind of awesome to see, because he's actually relaxing a little bit. I can kind of see it a little bit in his demeanor. It is funny, but I just want you to keep on breathing. There you go. 2, 3. There you go. Just let your body relax. Just let your eyes just relax. Try to keep them open if you need to, but if not, you can just let them close when they become relaxed enough. Just let your whole body relax. See, there you go. It's starting. That's fine. Keep doing it. The thing is that as I'm doing this, I'm letting all of his muscles fill with oxygen, which in turn is going to relax him even further. I'm making his whole body do work for him. Now that I think you've been oxygenated enough, I do want you to close your eyes for just a moment, okay? Just relax. That's all. And as you're doing that breathing, you're just going to think of relaxation entering in through your nose when you breathe in, and tension leaving out your lips when you breathe out. Just think of it almost like a physical force, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Good. That's all. Perfect. See, he's doing great. Through nose, out. Good. That's it. When you feel yourself starting to relax a little bit more and a little bit more, there you go. Just having a keep timed, relaxed state. Every single time. There you go. Now, the awesome thing about this is he's doing this. He'll begin to feel the tension start to leave. Almost like I guess you could call it a dysmorphic sort of sensation to it. Like he'll be aware of his hands and his arms, but they won't necessarily be his own. Because as he's breathing right now, the moment that he starts to feel relaxed, he'll notice that his left hand is starting to become lighter than it actually is. It's the weirdest thing. It's a somewhat peculiar phenomenon when you breathe in. The left hand somehow starts getting lighter and lighter, and the right hand starts to get heavier and heavier with every single breath in and out. There it starts to get a little bit lighter. Ah. You see, there you go. Now, this is what we actually call a break in the nature. You can put your headphones on, and I'm going to bring you back up. Don't worry about it. This is a break. This is what we call a hypnotic break. What happens is I said something that completely and totally conflicted with his logic. I was purposely testing to see exactly where that limit was. As with all hypnosis, hypnotists and subjects, it helps to have a good rapport. Unfortunately, I don't have that much of a good rapport with Brian quite yet. I haven't figured out what your modality is. I also know you have trouble relaxing, which makes things a hell of a lot more difficult.
I also had a very, very anxiety-producing day.
Yes, in which case then, you know what? This is a prime example
This is
why
not the day to do
not
this.
the day to do it.
Do you want to hug Kitty Pillow?
Yes.
He wants to hug Kitty Pillow.
Hand down the
Kitty Pillow.
That's why I bought Kitty Pillow, and that's why I spray it with perfume.
There you go. Now, I happen to know for a generalized fact that Beth is rather susceptible. She doesn't think that she is.
See, I thought you were waiting for me to like lift my hand up and start.
No, I was purposely testing to see exactly where the break was going to be at. I knew you had a pretty crap day, so I wasn't going to necessarily try and push it off. And the relaxation, that was specifically to get you to calm down.
Yeah, it did help.
Yes. Which is
I've done relaxation and mindfulness techniques like that.
Yeah, and there you go. That's all hypnosis is. It's a mindfulness technique that's guided.
Do you have
and
enough time
fun.
to do Beth? Because if not, I do have backup.
I have enough time to do Beth. I'm pretty sure I have enough to,
Phrasing.
so to speak. Phrasing.
Oh, yeah,
Phrasing. Boom.
And my choice of phrasing was a total accident, honest.
Phrasing a lack.
Yeah, right.
Well, notice honest.
Yep.
Bullshit.
It's what the cross fingers traditionally mean.
All right, same bit. Okay, I'm gonna toot the mic away. I'm gonna take off the headphones because I want you to just relax. Okay.
You suck.
Now, Beth has a lovely little thing where she can't focus her thoughts at all. I know this for a fact. I also know that she trusts me enough not to make her do anything stupid.
He knows I'll kick his ass.
That's if you remember it.
And I'll kick his ass too.
There you go. See what I mean?
It'll be a line of the butt kicking.
All right. So Beth, what I am gonna have you do though is I am gonna have you just rest your hand in my lap. You can let it be the back or front, whatever one you're comfortable with.
All right.
Okay. I'm just gonna actually have you do the exact same thing
Okay.
in regards to the breathing, but I want your eyes to stay open.
Okay.
Okay? Because I'm first gonna try one thing. Okay? This entire time you're just gonna have your hand relaxed with every single word you hear me speak. You're gonna start to feel that get a little bit heavier. It's weird. It is weird. Okay? I want you to focus on my finger.
Okay.
Okay? Are you focused on my finger?
Yes.
First, you want to be hypnotized, correct? It's important to figure that out.
Yes, I'm willing to let him try.
Okay, good. The thing is that I'm pretty damn sure I will succeed. The question is can you try not to be? But I don't want you to try not to be.
Placing bets now, everybody.
Okay?
It's been a long-going feud.
I want you
What
to
are the
relax.
Vegas hogs?
Okay? I want you to relax. You can keep your eyes open for as long as you can. You can try, I'm sure. Okay?
All right.
But just focus your vision on the tip of my finger. And let your body relax with every breath you take in. Every single word that I'm speaking is just making your hand get a little bit harder and harder to keep up. But you can let it relax in my hand, it's fine. And as my finger continues, get closer. You'll find yourself slowly but surely getting more and more relaxed. Just let your eyes focus on the finger. There you go. More relaxed. Focus on both fingers now. More relaxed. Every single time my fingers go down, you let out a deep breath. More relaxed. Letting it trail down. And more. Let your hand relax. Don't worry, I got it. I ain't going nowhere. More. More. You can let your eyes close for now. Go ahead and close them. It's fine.
I'm good.
I'm not gonna do anything. No, I'm telling you to close them. Okay? This is why somebody with this kind of thing is fun. Okay? I want you. See, I told you I'd make you laugh. I can wait. All right. Now, the funny thing is that with a person's mind, every single time, whenever they're experiencing any kind of stimulus, it creates an electrical impulse in the brain. You know about this, okay? They're called synapses. Now, the thing is that it's going to create a light. Now, you have a little bit of like ADD, ADHD, okay? Every single time, whenever you're experiencing something, a new light pops up. You're hearing my voice, boom, a light comes up. You think about hearing my voice, a light pops up. You're feeling your hand in mine, a light pops up. Every single thing around you is just nothing but a swirl of lights. Every single word spoken, every single sound, the studio, the air, the feeling on the chair, feeling of my hand, all bright lights, all one thing. Now I want you to think of all of those lights, and that creates yet another light. I want you to think of them all swirling. I want you to focus on just that thought and breathing in deep. And that creates yet another light and another. And I want you to relax and feel your entire stream of consciousness as those lights swirling around, picturing them, letting go, sort of like a small tornado and yet another light, slowly descending down a drain. Nice relaxed descent. Nice and calm descent. Keep relaxed. Down to relaxation. As every single light now is just going down into that dark pit. Yeah, another light goes when you're imagining that. Eventually you find yourself completely, totally, absolutely relaxed. And now we're going to have her come back up on 3, 2, 1. Up. Hey, how you feeling? Hey. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice little trance state. Told you I'd do it.
Yep.
Now, the thing is that I guarantee you were completely and totally aware of everything I was saying and doing, correct?
Well, yeah, it's essentially a guided meditation,
Yes.
Yeah.
which I've been doing since I was 12. So.
And there you go. She knew exactly what it was that I was doing, but at the same time, that's all trance was.
Yeah.
Now, here's the funny thing. I can only hear myself on my right side.
That's odd.
I know.
Interesting.
Did I just trance myself into making myself deaf on my left?
No, I think the wire got
Quite
pulled.
possibly.
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
That's probably
yes.
the wire.
I think it was the wire.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's what you meant by only a card I could use. Actually, believe it or not, that would have been perfect.
No, it wouldn't.
Oh, wouldn't have?
No.
Oh, gosh darn it.
Special deck, specially prepared for in case of tonight.
Oh.
I am going to demonstrate, in my opinion, the single greatest of all card tricks.
Okay, you going to do it on me?
I'm going to do it on several people, including your girlfriend, if she's open.
Oh, gosh.
So, let's see.
Hi.
Beth,
What?
red or black?
Black.
Brian, spades or clubs?
Spades.
So a black spade. Baron, face card or number card?
Face.
Aaron, jack,
Yeah.
queen, king, or ace?
Queen.
So we have chosen randomly. I had no influence on this. The queen of spades, right?
Mm-hmm.
See?
I have a deck of 52 cards here.
As soon as he can get them out.
As
He
soon
can't
as I
handle
can
his
get
deck.
them out.
He can't handle his deck, everybody.
You will see that they're all facing the same way, except for one, which I prepared before the show. Now, this was as random a draw as possible. I chose Erin because she's the person who happens to be on the phone right now. So no advanced preparation. The cards are the card is a little stuck together.
Why do I have to get picked?
But you can see there's
'Cause
one
you're here.
card
She's
facing
special.
the wrong way. Baron,
Son.
please pull that out.
I need to go hide in my hobbit hole now.
Flip
So
it
not
around
yet.
and show everybody.
Oh, you son of a...
The queen of spades.
Okay, Samwise, go get your gaffer now.
My favorite of all card tricks.
That was very good.
That was very good.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The frick did you do?
Magic.
Yeah, I get that.
That's-
the frick did you do?
That's one of the few that I can't figure out how he does it. So that's pretty good.
Oh, son of a.
It's because I'm psychic.
Aw, you glad?
Says the one that I did the mind reading trick on.
Blow me.
Uh-huh.
And for the
Oh,
record,
wait, that's right.
there are 53 different ways to do this trick. I can even do it with the jokers.
Yeah, this guy here.
He's a joker.
Oh,
To
my.
left me and to the right.
Yeah.
A very paranormally themed card trick to wrap us all up for tonight. I actually meant to bring these with me last week when we were talking about psychics.
I like this idea.
Because this is one of the most famous tests for psychic phenomenon there is. Anyone who has seen the original Ghostbusters will recognize this. So you have cards with 3 wavy lines, squares, circles,
And stars.
stars, and
We just don't have the electric shocks.
crosses.
Let's see if I can actually figure these out.
Well, no, I'm going to shuffle them up and hold out a card and show it to the audience and show it to the rest of my panel, and then I'm going to tell you without looking at it what it is.
Oh, really?
Oh,
really?
he's done this at the dinner table before. This is before you joined us.
Oh, go figure.
Oh my.
Yep.
Oh, my.
Yeah, you missed that party.
Okay, so not to make it too easy, I won't take the one from the top of the deck. We'll take this one.
Uh-huh. Okay.
See how it's going so far. Is it a circle?
I do believe it is a circle. Very well done.
It's clearly a flat sphere.
Hmm.
Which would be a circle, yes. And I'm not looking at the screen on the computer, which would be cheating. That would be wavy like the ocean. That's the 3 wavy lines. Am I right?
Yep.
That would be right. Very, very,
Here,
very well done.
pull one out at random, just so it's not that I have some prearranged order.
And just to make sure he's
Show it
not
around.
looking at the screen, and our
Let me know when you've shown it around.
host
I have.
just to
That would
move
be
the
a-
screen.
Circle.
These freaking things transparent or something? I'm saying.
There's something.
There is something.
There's always
There's
something.
a
This
trick.
dude.
It's on the back, I think.
I am not a psychic. I do not have supernatural powers. I am a magician. This is a trick you can learn. I will, in fact, tell you where I bought it. I will not, again, magician's oath, I will not reveal how my tricks are done.
This is why I'm not a
But-
magician. I'm a hypnotist.
Because the guy who sold this to me and sold me most of the other things I've shown you tonight is a good friend of mine, and he has a wonderful shop. There's a shop in North Jersey called Morley's Magic Shop.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Butler, New Jersey.
Yes.
Scott Morley, the guy who owns it, is a super nice guy. And he sells a metric ton of magic gear for, I'll put it like this, folks, I bought this. This is one of the first stage props I ever bought. Online, it goes for about $100. It was about $30 cheaper buying it from him.
Rock on.
So, better prices, excellent customer service, super nice guy, and it's always better to buy it in the actual shop because any good shop, they'll demonstrate it for you. You get to see it, make sure it's something that fits your act. But that is going to bring us to the end of our 50th episode. A couple things we got to do before our last ad, folks. To all of our listeners, whether you've been with us since the first episode or whether you're just tuning in for the first time, thank you so much. We love you all. Please remember to, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. Go on to YouTube and subscribe. It's a huge help.
Yes, please.
We're at 437 subscribers right now. We've got guests lined up. We've got a couple of deals we're trying to work out right now. We've got something special planned for the 500th episode, 500 subscriber mark as well, and we'll do something for the 1,000 subscriber mark.
It involves a cocktail dress.
No. Ball gown.
Ball gown.
Fancier
And
than a
for
cocktail
the
dress.
100th episode.
Or at
Is
least-
the cocktail
I might-
dress.
Or the 500th subscriber. I might do it if that comes first.
Which that could be in like a week or two. You may want to give yourself some more time.
Granted.
Yeah.
Also, if you can, if you have a little bit of money, if you don't have any money to spare, feel free to get the free Audible trial, or again, like, comment, subscribe. That helps us out enormously.
Mm-hmm.
If you have money to spare, you could consider going to our GoFundMe, gofundme.com/
Preferably the Patreon.
And preferably the
Paranormal
Patreon.
Encyclopedia, or Patreon,
Yes.
which is patreon.com/demonology. All of those links are in the description. And then, of course, there's our other fantastic sponsor. And take it away, Baron.
Very well. You're going to love this. Everyone is concerned about internet security these days, from governments to major corporations. Even the average internet user should be concerned about who's seeing your online information and how that information can be used. NordVPN is the answer you've been looking for. A VPN is a virtual private network, that protects your IP address so that your online activity is protected by a military-grade encryption. The way it works is you connect to Nord's protected network, and then they connect to the internet. It's a layer of protection between you and all the viruses, malware, and snoopers out there. Nord works on all devices, too, not just computers, your phone, tablet, whatever, up to 6 devices at a time, regardless of what operating system they use. Nord works with them all. Access to all the internet content you want, streaming media, websites, and social platforms. Nothing is restricted on Nord, so it's an easy way to get around those pesky firewalls at work, or maybe if you live in a country that's not so internet friendly. They have easy plans starting at a month for $11.95 down to 3-year plans for as low as $275 a month. Check it out for free at nordvpn.com, and you'll be glad you did.
Also, use our special link in the description to help us out.
Which is very much a good idea. Do so.
We don't add it to the ad because it's too long.
Yes.
But that's going to do it for tonight. Again, thank you so much. We would not have reached 50 episodes without our viewers.
Exactly.
And our wonderful guests. I want to again thank everyone who was kind enough to join us. We love you all. You're all awesome.
Indeed.
Virgo Triad, who's a frequent guest who was going to try and call in tonight, wasn't able to. Virgo, if you hear this later, thank you for your efforts. I hope everything went well. I know why she wasn't able to make it, and there's no hard feelings there. But that's going to do it for tonight. This is Kevin Mears saying good night and God bless.
Brian McKinley, stay thirsty.
Beth, live long and prosper.
Amisha, meow meow.
And this is Baron Voltage saying, thank God I didn't avoid lightning rods, otherwise I wouldn't be anywhere near as interesting.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
The force be with you all.
And thank you, Aaron, for being one of our frequent favorite callers.
Awesome, and also with you.
Welcome.